Hi there. This is Jo Zuleika, founder of Women Who Lead with Heart. Coming on tonight's live topic is how to be an inspired leader, how to be an inspirational leader, or how to develop follow me leadership. You know what I mean, right? It's that type of leadership that is commanding without demanding. It's the type of leadership that has people look up to you, who want to emulate you, who want to follow you, who literally might follow you from company to company. Follow me leadership is the type of leader you want to become because it says you have influence. So as we're leading into the talk, if you're joining me live, shoot me an emoji or say hello. And if you're watching the recorded replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know who's out there, who's listening, if you're tracking. I'd love to hear your comments at the end as well. So as I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about how many managers that we have in our group. Some of you are entrepreneurs and business owners, and some of you are not the big boss. So we're going to talk about both styles of both positions of leadership, because I fully believe that you can be a leader with no title. You can have absolutely commanding, magnetic leadership, even if you really have no title or team whatsoever. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So when we talk about those of you who are managers, there's a few different styles of managers. Classic manager tells you what to do, right? The classic manager sets out goals for you, works on deliverables, and it's all about the what. A micromanager takes it further and tells you how, right? Looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing it their way, sort of making sure that it's fitting in their box. How are you going to do your task? But a really inspired or inspirational leader is somebody who helps channel the why. Why are we working together? Why are we all here at this job, in this company, right? What are we doing together every day? Is it just a job, or is there a purpose here? The really inspired, inspirational leader is focused on that question. Why are we doing what we're doing? And if you, in your role, whether it's the big boss or a manager or something else, can articulate your own why, your company's why, or your customer's why, then you are in the realm of helping connect people with something that's bigger than themselves, which is like the number one motivation lever that we have as people. We sometimes do things because we have to, or we should, or it's good for us, or to avoid bad consequences. But the things that we love to do are the things that are lined up with our why, with why our values are the way they are, why we're wired the way we are, why this matters to us, why we're drawn to the work that we do. I think I'll post in the comments below a really cool TED Talk by Simon Sinek, who went viral with a talk called The Power of Why, where his whole thesis is that it really isn't about the what. Like, nobody cares that Apple computer makes, the best digital processor. That's not a sexy, attractive thing. But when they hooked on the whole idea that they wanted to be different and think different, it was like putting their finger in a light socket and really getting connected to some charged energy that brought so much fan base, right? How many times have you seen like the new Apple phone is on sale and like there's a line outside because people want to buy this product? I mean, that's just amazing marketing, getting people to connect their why with your product. Okay, so let's just talk about if you have a lot of agency over your company's culture, if you have a high title and you want to be an inspired leader, you want to be that follow me type of leader. The way to do it, I'm going to tell you how to do it. The way to do it is to spend some time honing in on your values. It doesn't take long. And it shouldn't be complex or complicated. It's actually not something you have to figure out, because Our values are in us already. Many people, when I do this work with them, they make the mistake of sort of like having aspirational values. Like they would like to think that they would be this someday, or they admire this quality in other people, and that's kind of what they want to have as their stated value. But quite honestly, your real values are already here. They're sort of how you're wired. And I like to say it's the kind of thing that your family members would absolutely recognize. Like, oh yeah, ever since you were little, you were always like that. You know, you were always fiercely independent. You wanted to do things your way. It's that sort of thing. You know, your value is how you're wired, what makes you tick, what you can't stop talking about, what your friends sort of eye roll about because you're so you. That's what your values are. So if my whole thing is like I value freedom and collaboration, it's not something that I would say because I want people to admire me for those things. It's true. It's just how I am. So you want to start with being really clear on what your values are. And you only want to choose like 3 of them. And if you're curious, you can go Google like lists of values. And you'll get like lists of 500 different concepts or values that you can just sort of download and go through and do this exercise of sort of like mining for values. And there'll be some that are like there are anti-values. Like, nope, I'm the opposite of that. Don't care about that. No how, no way. Could never work for somebody where that was their highest value. But you want to just be very disciplined and come down with like just 3. It's got to be so easy that it's like the top 3 things about you. And when you are in touch with your values and really clear, you'll be able to formulate your vision. And I mean like a vision statement. Even if your company has one, even if you're not the CEO or the entrepreneur that started the company and has the vision statement, you yourself in your role can have a vision statement for why you do what you do in the world. It should be super clear. It should be one statement. It could be even, where I work now, a regional manager could have a vision statement for how they run their particular region, what they believe in and what they do. Like it's not necessarily misaligned that an individual would have a vision statement even within a parent company. In fact, it's really compelling because what we're doing here, when you are clear, that's what's attractive about you as a leader. When you know exactly what you do and why you do it and what matters to you, that's clarity. And that is the way to hone in on being inspirational and a follow me type leader for others. If you can clearly, concisely articulate what you do and why you do it with the things that matter to you, people will be able to understand what the vibe is to work for you, or what, if they're aligned with what matters to you. And it's not something you want to keep secret. You want to be talking about it. I think some of the most compelling companies that have a very strong value statement and a really clear vision lead with this. It's like if you're in the service business and your vision is to provide an exceptional experience for your customers, well then you want to be talking about that in your teams, with your company all the time. You want to be leading with every company meeting with how many lives did we touch this year? What are some inspirational stories about the way in which our business has touched the lives of others? How are we making a difference? And that is so essential because not everyone has a powerful position of visioning and leading from a high place. There are many doers that need that focal point. They need that bullseye to be like, oh, okay, then when I'm hacking away at my tasks and doing my smaller piece, then I know what it means to the larger organization. I know why it matters. That's what a great employer is, that can articulate that so that everyone can kind of like get in line and help move the train forward on the same track. Are you guys following me? So even if you're not the big boss, even if you're not the one that can articulate the whole company's values, even if you feel like you don't really have them, maybe your company doesn't really articulate them or care about that. I'll talk about that in a second. They still exist. They just might not be articulated. Values are always there because it's how we're wired. It's who we are. So whoever's leading your company, whoever designed your company, did them with their values in mind. Your values are always showing, whether or not you claim them or they just sort of like peek out, they're always there. So, but if you're not the person that sets that tone, you still can and should spend some time doing this because it's so much more fulfilling to be thinking about, the way I want my small department to run is with a sense of this. And the people that work for us should have that spirit because that's how we operate. You can do that. That's not going rogue from the parent company. It's actually creating some energy and some momentum in your area. And that's awesome. That's what you want. You don't want just people kind of showing up, slaving away, doing the thing, watching the clock, and leaving. You want to attract people to what matters to you and ladder that up to something that's bigger than just what we're doing individually, but how we're impacting a greater whole. So let's say you're sort of a solopreneur, like maybe you work for a really big organization, but you don't manage anybody and no one really even manages you. Or maybe you do have a manager, but you don't feel extremely connected or lit up by that person. Or maybe you're just in a really small organization where it's just you and a couple of other people. How do you have this inspired leadership then? And the answer is still the same. You still hone in on what are we doing and why is it important? And what meaning do we make of it? And then how are we doing? In what ways can we celebrate our success? Like, let's say you run a really small physical therapy practice and you only have 2 other employees. You want to actually get out of the weeds of maybe just thinking of like, I need enough clients and we need to like pay the rent and we need to have a lot of people, very satisfied and we need to like get money from insurance. Like the day-to-day business stuff can often saturate the leader. But what you want to do is take a time out to look at why you chose to be in occupational therapy or physical therapy. Why do you want to have client contact? Why do you want to help people or heal people? And can you make that a sentence? And can you share that with your employees in a way that they also feel enlisted? Maybe you could encourage them to participate in the articulation of your company's values. Your one vision statement, your one sentence that could be on a bumper sticker, like, we heal people and make them happy. We get people back to their happy state, something that you can all get behind. And then it is your job as the leader, even if you only have a small portion of leadership at a wider company, to continue to stoke that fire, to, if you get some piece of praise or you notice something that's gone well, to circulate that news to your team and say, do you guys see what just happened last week? It might be this small data point on a huge spreadsheet, but what I noticed about it was that the goal we set out to achieve actually came about in the most miraculous way, or the most impactful way, or this is why we should take a moment to celebrate. Like, that's what a really good leader does, is continue to point up to where you are visioning your statement and connecting that for everyone else who's working with you, alongside you, below you, or even above you. So I wonder how this is resonating for you. When you are able to when you're meeting with your team and you're able to tie the outcomes of your business with the values or the vision that you've created, then they feed each other. The outcomes are a result of the vision, and the vision becomes a result of the outcomes. And then you're what they call like a multiplier. then you're actually enlisting the people around you to think more creatively and more expansively and gain more momentum about how they could support this vision even further. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's like inspiring people to also line their values up with yours and with the greater goal of the company. So you know what this is? A vision statement, like a one-sentence statement about what you do, and 3 values that say what's important to you about why you do it, is culture. It's how you create culture. And culture, like values, exists whether it's intentionally chosen or not. Culture is a byproduct of how you behave at work. And you and your desk have a culture because it's your vision and values combined, showing up at work with what you believe and what's really important to you is the culture of your own little microcosm. If you have a larger team, your department has a culture. I would like to inspire you to have a culture that other people would be attracted to so that you could get the talent in the company to want to work for you. Even if you don't have much of a team at all, you might work with a lot of clients. And even then, you can develop culture by enlisting your customers or clients into why what you're doing is so important, or why the synergy between your company and their company means something to you and how you support that. And you'll be surprised the reaction you get. It often kind of takes people aback if you recognize the importance of their why. What they're doing is so important, why. And if you can tell your customers that, you start to build sort of this cultural rapport with people that you're doing business with. So you can even have a strong sense of vision and purpose, even if you sort of work all alone. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this topic. And if you feel empowered in your own role, even if you're not the owner of the company, to develop a clear vision statement, a one-sentence statement about what you do, and come into clarity about what your personal values are, about the reason why you do it, so that you can start speaking that way with the people you work with. And if you feel like that could be a natural position for you, if you could say, before we start talking about our goals for this season, I'd like to just take a moment and share with you some thoughts that I had in preparation of this meeting. And I want to just talk big picture about what we do here and my personal values of why I love doing it, and see if that's resonant for you as we embark upon this. It's not about goal setting. Goal setting is all about kind of more of the what and the how. Like we're going to, make this type of revenue, or we're going to get this many customers, or we're going to, make this certain mark. Those are good, but they're only down the ladder from the higher aspirational goals of the why. So there's my chat with you for this evening. I hope that you found that inspiring. I hope it's something that you feel like you can put into use. This is actually one of the first lessons I take women in my private group on, where we come into ultimate clarity with our values, our own vision statement, and what our why is. Why are we doing what we're doing? Are we aligned with our higher purpose? Is this the right work for us? What's our legacy? What is important about the various activities that we choose, and are we choosing intentionally? I teach this, so if you're curious about knowing more, if you would like to know more about my group program and how you can get a hold on this for yourself to learn how to become an inspiring, follow me leader, give me a call. I'll drop my call link in the comments below, and you can click on it to book a call with me to see if my group program might be right for you. That's what I got. Go well.